Charlie Parsons Boxing Social in association with Betfred, here with Eddie Hearn, and we spoke off camera. I'm going to get a bollock in, so I'm just going to hand the mic to you.
Parsons, number one, I came into the venue today in Nottingham. You were wearing a Coach jacket and you had a Coach bag.
Serious sauce.
Now, what's serious sauce?
The drip. And I'm wearing a Burberry shirt, come on.
Sauce.
Yeah.
What the young kids say, yeah, right. Coach, Parsons, I said to you, did you borrow that from your missus? Because Coach, I do not see it as a male brand, right? So now, through those comments, you took off your Coach jacket and
Because we're indoors.
but underneath, you have the traditional Burberry Rascal, right? Now, you can't have a Coach jacket and a Burberry print Rascal on, right? You've got the Gucci chain still going on, the Gucci bracelet. I don't know what those shoes are.
Air Max, come
What
on.
are the jeans?
Oh, I don't know, they're just basic jeans.
Okay.
I put on a bit of timber, so I just wanted something to fit.
Timber, I didn't want to say Parsons. No, you didn't. I'm joking. But yeah, look, it's good to see you, Parsons. Good to see you back on.
Boxing Social, baby.
You're smashing it. Good for you. Oh, and all because of our TikToks.
All because of our TikToks. Let's jump into it. Rankin versus Harper, Kid Galahad, Maxi Hughes. Not what we expected, but the fight goes on nevertheless. What was the decision in terms of not pulling the card? Obviously, you want to get the guys out, but Nottingham, obviously, you would have preferred for Lee.
We would have rather been in Sheffield, but we'd already sold 8,000 tickets, and then when Lee Wood pulls out, all of a sudden you get 4,000 or 5,000 refunds. So we've got a really good main event. Maxi Hughes against Kid Galahad, Yorkshire Derby's always been a good fight. But obviously the card was unreal. Terry Harper Rankin, another brilliant fight, unified world championship fight. But you're left with a decision sometimes, and you can't really win. Because the Twitter hardcore say, oh, can't believe you're going ahead with that fight. And the reality is that fighters only get paid when they fight. And when you've still got a good card, when you can still bring 4,000 people to the venue, when you can still change people's lives, when you can still make sure people get paid after all the sacrifices they've got through, regardless of if you're going to lose money or not, you do it. And that's your job as a promoter, to look after your fighters. And I want to see the fights as well. So we're going to see it, and it's going to be a good night.
I've got to ask you about last night's Twitter antics. I've had to make a list because there was so much that went on. First things first, I think the pay-per-view numbers for last week were said around the 500,000 mark. You have said that's
total bollocks. I mean, look, Dan Rafael, the problem is this isn't a dig at Dan, but I spoke to Mike Coppinger last night, and everyone knows how it works. People have got agendas. So what's happened is the fight's taken place, people have fired into Dan Rafael, who don't like us, who don't like the zone, and given them fake numbers. Now, at that point, you have a choice whether to report those numbers and take a fly and hope that they're right, or if you work for a credible outlet, say, I can't really, because I can't really give you numbers that a rival's given me or something like that, right? He's decided to run with it. So the zone come out and say, look, we can't accept that you're reporting that, so we're going to tell you the numbers. Over 1 million people bought the fight, right? Okay. Dan Rafael comes out and goes, yeah, well, half of those were in America. No, you plonker. Not half of those. The vast majority of those. Because all the other territories, you talk about UK, Europe, Australia, they're a small percentage of buyers, and they're also obscure start times. Don't forget that in Latin America and Mexico, obviously the two key markets, it's not on pay-per-view. So all these other territories make up a very small percentage of the million buyers. So 575 is totally wrong from Dan Rafael. And it's annoying because he should know better. But he's clout chasing and he's thinking, what, I'm going to get the figures out. And you take a run at it that the person that's told you about it is telling you the truth. Why would the person that's told you about it, who doesn't like Matchroom, who doesn't like the zone, tell you the truth? So just have a brain. So that's why we had to come back. And then he says, yeah, but did the revenue cover the main event purses? What the fuck's that got to do with you? And by the way, what about the gate, which was 22 million? Oh yeah, forgot about that. No, but it's like... And anyway, I shouldn't have bit, but we're very passionate about it. And at the same time, we can't have people just telling lies. And I know he wasn't lying intentionally. He just took a fly. And the numbers were miles wrong. Look, I think the numbers are extremely solid. I think the US number was probably a little bit below the zone's expectations. Maybe not below mine. But I think the numbers were solid worldwide, and particularly in the US as well.
Stephen Espinoza has hit back saying that the figures are gibberish and subscriptions shouldn't include a pay-per-view number, and if that they were, then their numbers that they release would be so much bigger.
Well, no, because it was pay-per-view in the majority of territories. Some was subscription only. You're still paying for the fight, but the price point is different in all the territories. Obviously, in America, it's $80. In the UK, it was, whatever it was, $14.99. In another territory, it might be $5.99. So they're all people paying for the fight. But a lot of those territories, like you talk about obviously UK, Australia, it's 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Like 80% around that number of the buys come from the US. So he's miles out, and it's frustrating because people do it because they have an agenda.
Well, and then another one on that, Callum Smith has now got involved with Mams Taylor and the Misfits team with KSI, and obviously Leonard Ellerbe's had his word in. Now they're wanting to stage you and Ellerbe again. Just your thoughts on the spat with Ellerbe last night again?
Callum's my good mate, and Mams Taylor I don't know, but he looks like a character as well. They couldn't afford me, mate. I mean, you talk about 1 million buys worldwide. That probably does 2 million buys worldwide. I've got a bad finger. If I got it fixed, maybe we could make the fight, but it would have to be 90-10 split in terms of obviously the value. But I can't really fight. I don't know if Leonard can, but if I got knocked out, it wouldn't be great. But a lot of people would watch it. Just with him, he had to have his little 2 pennies worth. The only thing I'll say about Leonard is I think he's starting to understand the banter and the sarcasm a little bit more. No, he is, because he was actually quite funny. I mean, it's a terrible gag when it ain't no sunshine at the zone, like off the back of my song. But I just said to him, look, when have you done a big show? And don't include Floyd Mayweather shows, because you just used to pack the jockstrap. Facts. All work is easy work. Do you know what I mean?
Buatsi Pascal situation, so they've said that they agreed to the VADA testing, but you wanted it set in stone in the contract. They weren't able to put it in the contract?
So this is very simple, and people play on words, etc., etc. When you win a purse bid, you have 14 days to send a contract, right? On the 13th day, in the afternoon or evening or whatever it was, they decided to send a contract. Now the whole period, in my media, in conversations, we said we will take the fight if VADA testing is in the contract. Not, we'll start VADA testing once you sign a contract. In the contract. When you say, we've already signed up, we've agreed to it. Well, if you've agreed to it, why not put it in the contract? They sent the contract like the day before the deadline. The IBF then spoke to us actually beyond the deadline because we received it so late and said, are you going to sign this contract? We went back to DeBella and said, please put VADA testing in the contract. Then all of a sudden the time expires, etc. They knew it had to be in there. We've requested it before, we requested it again. So, whatever. John Pascal was DMing me last night. Oh, you're painting my name in a bad picture. Mate, you've already done that yourself. Right? So, and by the way, the person that pulled out of this fight was Joshua Buatsi. And I back him 100%. It wasn't Matchroom. So someone said, Matchroom were never going to let this fight happen on BT. Bullshit. Got no problem with this fight happening on BT. What I've got a problem with is VADA testing not being in the contract. I can't let my fighter go in with a fighter off the back of John Pascal's failed test without VADA testing in the contract. Not, yes, we've all written off to Margaret and then once it's signed, we'll pay for it and get it done. Bollocks, I don't trust you. In the contract. Irrelevant now, it's not happening. And now we work towards the next fight for Joshua Buatsi.
I spoke to Joshua Buatsi on Friday, it must have been, and he told me that the Callum Smith fight was a fight that has been proposed to him from the team from Matchroom. Obviously, since then, I think that's taken off. I'm seeing it all over social media. Big up me on the exclusive, obviously.
Big up you, Parsons. I knew you'd get a fucking shout out for yourself in there somehow. Look, that fight is definitely not done. It's not officially offered to both guys.
Is it a real chance now?
I think it's a tremendous fight, right? But the issue is Callum Smith, quite rightly so, wants to become a world champion. So does Joshua Buatsi. But these guys could be waiting for 9 months, 12 months, 15 months. So if you're prepared to have a big fight and a big payday in the interim, it's down to the fighters and their teams. So there may be a situation soon where I go to Callum Smith's team or I go to Buatsi's team and say, here's an offer to do this fight. If you don't want to do it, it's not going to be a public offer where we're out with a rival promoter. We're going to go sit down with a team sensibly and plan out their career. I love the fight. I think it's a tremendous fight. But my priority for both men is to deliver in world title fights.
Who's the A side in that fight? Because Callum Smith's a former world champion. And a lot of the posters that are being made.
Yeah, certainly in terms of achievements, Callum Smith. He's a former world champion, Ring Magazine champion, won the World Boxing Super Series. But Boatsi's, becoming a big name in his own right as well. So no world title fight on the line. Once we start talking about A-sides beasts, like at the end of the day, have a great fight and make a load of money, and let's be part of a night that people remember for a long time.
Joshua Fury, or Fury Joshua, I should say. What is the update on that? Because obviously you were speaking with George Warren, but then obviously, a difficult week. I think I heard you say something with Joe about contract not being right. Yeah,
we had a contract that came through. Obviously, there was a lot of issues with that contract. It's not unusual. We went back. We had a very proactive call, I think, yesterday, the guys, and time is of the essence. The broadcasters have still got to get together, but we're moving in the right direction with the wording in that agreement, and we're all hopeful to make it happen. I can't say to you, it's looking good, it's looking bad. There's still a long way to go, but no one's slagging each other off, which is a really good sign. And we're all working hard, me, Frank, Sean, our team, and obviously George and Frank over that side. We'd like to do it, and hopefully we can get it made.
I don't know what's happened since Friday, but I caught up with Frank on Friday after the show that he had, and he seems pretty adamant. Well, not adamant, but he seemed pretty certain that they're getting somewhere with the fight, and he said like 90% chance he thinks the fight will go ahead.
Yeah, I think that everybody wants to make the fight, so there's a great chance of it happening. It's got to be right for everyone, and we're not looking to be difficult. It's a co-promotion, it's maximising the revenue all round for the pot for the both fighters, and no one disputes that. So fingers crossed. Like I said, it's like you'd think in this situation it'd be me giving an interview and saying this and Frank giving interviews, but we're not. We realise that would affect the fight and the chance of the fight, so we're all behaving.
Eubank Jr. Ben, undercard, we're 2 weeks out, we've had nothing, Eddie.
Yeah, today, it's been announced today, Galal Yafai, Lyndon Arthur, Harlem Eubank, Shannon Courtney, Ellie Scottney. It's a big card, and a load of other Wasserman fighters and Matchroom fighters as well. That will all be officially announced today.
Okay, and then just finally from me, obviously you've announced Katie Taylor with a defence of her world title. Jordan Gill against Kiko Martinez on the card. Kevin Ajako faces an American unbeaten opponent. Obviously Johnny Fisher's on there who sells tickets. Your new signing, Gary Cully, tremendous fighter. You've got Jordan Reynolds on there who sells really good tickets. Am I missing anyone out? There's one more, John Hedges.
Yeah, it's a really good card. And also Gary Cully's in a tremendous fight. We're trying to make his fight against Angel Fierro, the Mexican lightweight. It'd be a brilliant fight. Kevin Ajako's in a great fight, 16-0 Peter Dobson. Gil Martinez, brilliant fight, IBF world title eliminator. And Katie Taylor's in a tough fight, 19-0 Carbajal. It's a good fight. And Johnny Fisher's already got his order in, as is the rest. We're going to have a packed house October the 29th.
Just in terms of the rest of the schedule, we're seeing Josh Warrington, I think, December 10 in Leeds, and then what else can we expect? Obviously, you've got Abu Dhabi November 5, I believe.
Well, November 5, you've been in America too long, Parsons. So this weekend, we're in, obviously, Nottingham. Next weekend, no show, can't believe it. October the 8th, Ben Eubank. October the 15th, we're in Brisbane for Paro against Jarvis, our first event there. October 22nd, we'll be in Mexico for Julio Cesar Martinez. October the 29th, will be Katie Taylor at Wembley. November the 5th will be Abu Dhabi with Bivo against Ramirez, Caldina Rakimov, McCaskill against Cameron. November 12th will be Montana Love against Stevie Sparks in Cleveland. November 19th, at the moment, free week, but that'll change. November 26th, big card coming to London with our big heavyweight name that will be announced shortly. December 3rd.
Any clues on that? No. Derek Chisora?
No, maybe. December 3rd, Estrada Chocolatito. 3. December 10 looks like Josh Warrington. And look, if Tyson Fury fights him, it'll be December 3rd. And if we can't get that deal done, AJ will fight December 17th. So,
Eduardinho, thank you very much.
Top bants, Parsons.